time, or did you go together? It was not not a trip that you planned at the same time, right?
No, yeah, so we knew each other from the trail running, the ultra running community. But also, we didn't actually know, like we didn't really confirm that, or know anyone is going to K2, but it just happened that I got to know, because this year I went to Everest, in Everest and Lhotse in April and May. When I came back, I got to know that PS was going to K2 as well. But by that time, we already signed up for different teams, so we just went ahead.
Wait. So you finished Everest in May, and then in August, you completed K2.
Yeah.
How was that like on your body? Was that not very, taxing physically?
It was tiring, to be honest. It kind of feels like, my muscle has been sucked out from my body now. It's only skin and a little bit fat underneath.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Gosh.
I mean, I can tell already just how physically demanding, all these clients must be on an individual's body. And you women are just conquering peak after peak after peak. I wake up in the morning and I go do I have enough coffee to survive the day? These ladies
that
are
sounds like me this morning.
Really? You're only saying that to make me feel better. You.
I can't even clean my room. You guys are climbing mountains. What is the state of your room at home?
Yeah, I got
house?
mountain of laundry.
Yeah.
Does that count if I conquer it? I think cannot.
Do you guys have very clean homes, or is it in a state of organized chaos? I'm curious. I'm curious. What does the home of a climber look like? Is it climbing gear everywhere?
Maybe we stick to the mountains.
You see, it is easier to climb a mountain than to do housework, right? So,
can both of you share with us, what are some of the feelings that you go through while you're doing your climbs? What are thoughts that help you get you through even, ladies?
Okay. So, at least for me, I feel like especially for K2, right? It was quite intense because for K2 it's very steep. So most of the time you don't really have a place to stand properly. So you always hang on the rope, and also the rescue system in K2 is not as good as Himalaya. So Himalaya, you can get helicopter, someone organize that for you. But for K2, for me, it feels like if I take a wrong step, I don't know what to do.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no one's going to come. So for K2 was very intense. But at the same time, I feel once we're in this kind of big mountains, I feel very humble and grateful. So every step I take, it kind of feels like, thank you, Mother Mountain, for accepting me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And
I really like that.
And we're so insignificant. So you just can't compare yourself or your little human being with the nature. So that's how
I think that's actually a very refreshing, place to be. That you're in awe of nature. Nature is more powerful than you. That kind of, humbleness that you feel. I think that's really wonderful.
But also, Vincere, what is that feeling of having to know this could be your last step? It's very confronting. It's a very confronting feeling, right?
Yeah, it was intense. I mean, you probably feel that as well for K2.
Yeah.
There's so I share the sentiments on humility and gratitude. I mean, the place is just so vast. You're this tiny little spot.
Wow.
Can't even see in the photos. The fear was very real. In response to your question about, anything might happen, rocks might fall, avalanches. It's very prone. So a lot of that uncertainties, and also a sense of disbelief that I'm actually here. So standing on the summit, the pride, it's just a whole mixed bag of emotions.
I can't imagine, but you guys, the mountain is inside of you, I feel, this mountain of courage, of bravery, putting Singapore on the map. And I don't even think that y'all set out to do that, right? To be the first women in Singapore to climb the first, the highest mountains, the first 2 highest mountains in the world. Was that even on your mind as you set out? Or it was just about, no, I'm going to do this because I want to?
Yeah, it's more the latter. I guess the first is a bonus if it's there.
Yeah.
If it happens.
Yeah, I knew no Southeast Asian female has done K2 before. And for me, it was more so because in the recent years, so many, especially female mountaineers, has gone out and break the records of climbing multiple 8,000 meters in a year. And I've seen not many, or probably none of Singaporean or Southeast Asian has done that. So I kind of want to just feel like, hey, I want to go there and show that we can do it.
Wow, that's amazing.
So whatsoever we train on sea level, we still can do it.
Oh, we have a question from one of our Brightside buddies. Gurmit is asking, why is K2 called K2? Oh, that's a good question.
I think when the explorer first spotted the mountain range, there was a K1 which they have renamed as Mesherbrum, in the local So it was just going by the peaks that he saw.
Yeah, there's
so just in order.
K3, K4.
Oh, okay.
I think K7 even. Something
I'm
like
not
that.
sure
We
where
could see
it
that.
ends.
Yeah.
Not like K2, the kindergarten level. It's not like a baby mountain or
Hey,
anything
what?
like that. We are chatting with local climbers Vincere Tseng as well as Phei Sunn. Thank you so much for joining us here in the studio. The chat continues live on Facebook. If you want to see what our female climbers look like, how rugged or not rugged they look. In fact, I can't even tell. You can't tell these women have conquered the top 2 highest mountains in the world. Join us on Facebook, facebook.com/91.3. Got a prize for you there as well. Back with more in a bit. Welcoming to the studio 2 very phenomenal women. We've got Phei Sunn as well as Vincere Tseng, who have just completed the climb of K2, the second highest mountain in the world. It is definitely a huge accomplishment and doing Singapore so proud. Thank you so much.
Yes,
ladies.
my goodness. How did you even arrive at wanting to do this? I mean, do you guys have any prior? I mean, have you always been interested in climbing, for example, or hiking? How did this all start?
Do you want to start first?
You start
Oh, okay. P.S.
So sweet.
P.S.
Yeah. So I've been climbing since like 2003, 2004. So many years. It started when I was trying to get a spot on the back then Singapore Women's Everest team.
Oh, wow.
So that was how I got introduced.
That's like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm that old.
Oh, wow. So you've been climbing for that long?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
No, you're not that old. You started this dream at 5, so, you're very young. Very young. In your 20s only, yes.
Yes.
How did you stay true to that? Were you ever discouraged? You didn't make the team in the end. Or did you?
Yeah. No. So I didn't join the team in the end. But then I continued climbing, and then there were also peaks that I couldn't summit. So there was a bit of a lull and down period, where I went on to other spots. But eventually I came back to climbing, and kind of it flourished a little bit.
And how about for you, Vincere? How did this love for climbing, how did it come about?
It was quite randomly because after I graduated from NTU, I went for so my graduate trip was doing a voluntary work at Africa.
Okay.
So the highest mountain in Africa was just next to the village I was at. So I was like, I was exploring, backpacking a lot. So I was like, let me try something new. So I went up there, and I just loved being in the mountains. So I started to go higher.
Wow. That's brilliant. Oh my goodness. I can't even we went and did like a high elements course last week at Escapade in Orchard Central. Already it's like only 2 stories high and we're like screaming, we're freaking out. 2 stories high.
I think she's fine with heights. I'm not good with heights. I'm really scared of heights. But my next question is, how is it like for your loved ones, your friends and family, especially when you say, hey, I'm going to go to this mountain and it's a known, very difficult climb, your lives might be at risk. How do they respond to all this?
Ooh, maybe we can save that for on air. We're going to jump back on air, okay? How your families actually feel about you girls. Are they traditional, or are they very encouraging, very gung-ho kind of family members supporting you all the way? All right, hang on tight. We are going back live on 1FM.
Cross My Heart by Eighth Wonder here on the Brightside. Good morning to you. I think our 8 wonders are both sitting right here in our
it's
studio.
not just Everest. That's not the wonder. It's the 2 ladies. We are welcoming to the studio Phei Sunn and Vincere Tseng, the first women in Singapore to summit the world's 2 highest peaks. We're talking about Everest at 8848 meters and K2 at 8611 meters. The highest that I've been to is Zermatt in Switzerland, which is 3844. And I took the cable car up, you guys. I cheated. But you guys literally climbed it. We were talking about how your family was supportive in all of this.
Yeah, I asked on Facebook Live, how do your loved ones respond to this? Especially when some of the peaks that you climb, your lives are at risk. How do they respond to all this that you do with the climbing?
So for me, when I started climbing, my mom saw my face at some point burned a couple of years back. So there was a time that we didn't actually speak for 2 years. Pretty much, I'm quite independent, so I am not staying with them. But for Everest, she sort of feel like, this might be my last one for the stage. So I actually didn't tell her that I was going to K2. So I finished the whole project. I came back and tell her,
Whoa.
I'm back alive. Yeah.
Oh, I can see why you need to do that, because if not, your mom is just left with a thought. She's wondering, how are you? Are you safe?
Exactly.
Are you alive?
So she thought it was a phase that you were going through, this mountain climbing thing. It's just a phase. She'll be done.
I mean, you're gonna go back and come back and get married and have a kid or something like that.
So
Oh
I'm
my
already
gosh.
picking up from you, Vincere, that sunblock is very important on the mountaintop, because you got sunburn, is that it? You were talking about you got burnt?
Yeah, for one of the mountain I climbed before.
Ay. Okay, good tip there. If I ever want to
She
scale
doesn't
a
look
mountain.
sunburned to me. She's got a nice, healthy tan,
I
actually.
know.
Is that where we go to get a
because
tan?
Today she knows sunblock is very important.
Yes,
go
exactly.
there
I
for a
know that.
tan.
K2.
I think there are easier ways.
I want that healthy glow. I'm going to K2.
How about for you, PS?
Yeah, I got burnt. In case you,
And
you
also
can see
Why
my
is it
pictures.
hard to put on the sunblock? Because I mean,
I know.
temperatures
so
are high.
actually, this is the first time I got burnt. I think the skin was
Oh.
just exposed this round. So now I have this oxygen mask like imprinted on my face.
Oh,
if you
because
can
of the
see.
goggles, is that it?
Yeah, goggles.
I
here
didn't
and,
notice it. Actually, you know what? Pointing it out, I don't
Okay,
see it. It's
good.
fine.
Not
It's
much.
good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
How do
So-
your loved ones
Yeah.
react to what you do?
So quite similar to Vincere. So because I've been climbing for so long, I think my mom has given up, saying like, "This is your last climb. Like no more next
she
year."
knows she can't stop you, eh?
She can't say that for 20 years. So anyway, yeah, I've reduced like information to really bite size, to just destination. Like I'm going to Pakistan, I'm going to which country, and full stop.
And then your mom also doesn't want to ask, right? Because I think she would get worried.
Yeah.
So what were some of the challenges that you guys face on this climb? What was like the toughest bit? PS?
I guess the uncertainty. So it's a lot more mental. Less so on the physical preparations. It's really the psychological, like seeing the slopes, because K2 is quite a nice pyramid shape. So the minute you get off the advanced base camp, it's just
Wow.
up incline.
It looks daunting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of mixed terrain that is you don't find in Singapore.
For example, like it goes from like rocky to snow.
So
and,
it's rocks and snow and ice, like all mixed together
oh goodness! So it's can be very slippery
on an
more-
incline.
Oh, okay.
On an incline, yeah. So
that doesn't stop,
it's easy to have a misstep.
It's basically from even from the top, you can basically see the glacier at 5,000
gosh.
meters. So once you look back, you see everything below.
Yeah. How I felt on the cable car ride in Switzerland. You guys are actually on the mountain, so I don't think it quite compares, yeah? What about for you, Vincere? What was the toughest part for you?
I think for sure the uncertainty, also the uncertainty on the arrangement and the weather. So I think because we both train a lot, we know like how we train, so we're quite comfortable with the physical part. But because this year the weather was quite the window was not very stable, so and the forecast was not accurate at all, so we were always wondering when should we go, whether we can submit, and so until the last 50 meters I didn't even know that we could actually make it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was very tricky.
So nerve-wracking.
to have that hanging over your head. We just want to share some messages from our Brightside buddies on our Facebook. Alun says, good journey to you. I like that. And they're all greeting you, Daniel as well, all saying good morning to both of you incredible ladies. And Gurmit, who asked earlier about why is K2 called K2, we answered the question about how did the climbing journey start for both of you. And he said, is it Bukit Timah Hill? But no, Gurmit.
No, it was Mount
Actually,
Everest.
There's a lot of Bukit Timah
That's
Hill.
where we train. That's where all the Singaporeans train.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about how is the training like for you ladies. But Gurmit also says, so what's next? Is it the Antarctic mountains? What's next?
We'll come back with that answer in just a little while. So stay tuned, Kermit. And of course, keep those messages coming through. You can also WhatsApp us, 88550913. Join in the chat on Facebook at facebook.com/1FM91.3. Back with more of Phei Sunn and Vincere in just a bit. Oh, see, so many questions for the ladies. Oh my gosh.
And hey everyone, if you chime on in, drop a comment, ask a question, you might just win for yourself a $100 dining voucher from Salt and Palm.
Did you enjoy any of that actually?
Yeah.
Was it enjoyable?
Oh, you mean the
at
whole
any stage?
expedition?
Yeah.
Yeah, any part of it was enjoyable?
Or is it just like
I'm guessing the hot drinks must have been enjoyable.
Base camp. I think this is what we call the type 2 fun, where you suffer and, in the moment, but
No
then you
pain,
come
no
back
gain.
and kind of miss it a lot.
Really? Miss it?
Yeah, I was literally thinking like, I'm gonna go back to my comfortable, just comfortable city, running on the road. Why do I do this? But now I'm already starting to think, I want to go back.
Wow. I put my hand on Vincia's shoulder. It's okay to have that kind of comfortable life. I enjoy it. I'm okay with that. Okay, I go back to my corner.
Gurmit was asking, what is next for you guys, actually? I mean, Phei Sunn, you've conquered the 7 summits already. There's nothing else, right? No more already.
There's so
more
many
mountains.
peaks in the world.
Go back to Bukit Timah, Mount Faber, all those.
Yeah, for training. Yeah. So there's so many peaks in the world. I guess I'll just pick a couple more iconic ones to climb.
What is an iconic?
Maybe some of the other 8,000 meters peaks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that somewhere in Spain, I think? Was it?
In Nepal and China.
Okay.
I mean, there are some in Pakistan as well.
Okay. I got the wrong part of the country or the world, the map.
But nice mountains there too.
Yeah. Because you see it in the movies, and they're very little gear. They're climbing. Is it free climbing or something? No ropes, no nothing. Yeah, I've seen that. It's really scary. Is that something you want to do?
The free soloing?
Yeah.
Types? Maybe not.
Yeah, we're probably more hanging on the rope type.
Yeah, the rope's always good.
How about for you, Vincere? What's next for you?
No fixed plan yet, but I've done 1, 2, 4. So probably number 3, I think I will tick the bucket list.
There are 7 peaks, is it? You're saying?
There are 14 peaks
14.
above 8,000 meters.
Wow.
So potentially at some point I'll finish all of them, but hopefully.
Wow.
But at least for now, I think number 3 is definitely on my list.
Okay. Is climbing very expensive? I do hear that it can add up, the insurance, the gear and all that.
Oh.
How much does each climb kind of cost?
Average? It depends on the peaks, but something like 20-ish to 40-ish
$1,000
US.
US.
And the duration of the trip would be for 2 weeks, 3 weeks? How long would it be
4 to 6
on
months.
average? 4 to 6 months.
Weeks.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
4 to 6 weeks.
So 20K spread over 4 to 6 weeks. I can see. Actually, it makes sense. Makes sense.
I like
Wow.
your way of calculating.
I'm just trying to find comfort in
Leverage.
little ways. In
Leverage.
little ways, because what you do is really incredible. I don't think I have the guts to do it. Honestly, yeah. How is it like to hold? Do your phones work there? Because it gets cold, right? The higher you go up. Do the gadgets work? How do you take photo? How do you take selfie? Important questions
Satellite
asked by
phone.
Lavinia.
You got your satellite phones, right? But I think your phone can work at a certain point. You can still take pictures on your phone. Yeah, they're quite hardy.
Just keep it warm, like in your down jackets.
Yeah.
Okay.
And only use it whenever you really need to. So most of the time, just keep it inside the down jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, but pro tip, leash the phone. Have a rope or something to tie to your jacket. Because I dropped one in Everest.
Ouch. Okay, there was no
and
going
didn't
back
find
to
it
get that.
back. Just
No, it
dropped
just-
it.
it's-
in.
If you drop it.
It like skidded on the ice, went into the glacier.
Oh no.
Were you guys
Crevasse.
ever together on the same route while climbing or at completely different places on the mountain? You didn't bump into each other?
In base camp and near the summit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And near the summit.
Yeah.
Was there a queue to get to the summit for K2? I understand there's a queue to get up Mount
Yeah,
Everest,
because for
yeah.
K2, it always depends on the window. So this year for K2, because we only have 1 day,
Yeah.
so all the people in the mountain, so I think around almost 200 people in the mountain have to do the summit push
Okay.
on that day.
Okay.
Because the next day is going to be a storm.
We're just gonna go back on air and recap that as well. How there's queuing involved, okay? Hang tight. 91.3 Good Times, Greatest Hits. Good morning to you and welcome to the Brightside. You're with Carol and Lavinia, joined in the studio by 2 very phenomenal women. I just cannot get out of my mind how these 2 ladies in front of us are the first 2 women in Singapore to summit the world's 2 highest peaks, Mount Everest at 8848 meters and K2 at 8611 meters. That is
You
quite
gotta do
the
this, ladies.
accomplishment.
You gotta be like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we got PS with us in the studio and Vincere Tseng as well. PS, what do you do for a living actually?
I'm a public servant. I've been in public service for 20 odd years.
Okay. And Vincere?
I work in IT company.
Wow. All right. So, you could be from any walk of life, any background, and, this mountain, hey, it's within you to conquer. And earlier on, we're talking about some of the biggest challenges, and you said it was something more internal, right? It was more of your fears and all that you had to conquer. What did some of these challenges actually teach you about life?
I think especially in Singapore, we like to plan things very efficient and how we do things.
Says the public servant.
Bingo. And so that's one thing. But in the mountains, you can't really plan things down to the exact. Like what Vincere was saying earlier, the weather throws you off, things happen, accidents happen. So that the idea of being able to let go, you plan what you can, but be prepared to just go with the flow
and just react.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really good. I think it's great for life itself.
Yeah.
But for you, Vincere?
For me, I think it's more so because we both train a lot, so I know we put like a lot of effort in actually making this happen. So for me, I really got this, whenever I really want to achieve something, I do 120% of effort for that 99% of success, and then the 1% that's the uncontrollable. So like all this weather, all these people, and a lot of things that we can't control, let it go.
Hey, if it's only 1%, that's a pretty good statistic right there. Only 1% you can't control. Why not, man?
I also like that, you are prepared for whatever happens. And earlier on off air, we're talking about how when you get to the mountain, actually, you have to kind of let it go because you never know when you're going to summit. And then there's queues to get to the summit as well, right? Like on Everest, there's long queues. You go up, you take a picture, and then you go down again very quickly.
Yeah.
So same thing on K2?
Yep.
Yeah, so that day on K2, because that was the only day that we could actually summit. So we had like 200 people, including the mountaineers and the Sherpas. Wow. So we had probably around 200 people and waiting at the last 200 meters for the Sherpa to open the road. Because the steep was very slow, so they actually need to carve the steps to actually reach the summit. So we were queuing. I think I was there for like 5 or 6 hours before we reached the summit.
Oh, goodness.
So by any chance that the weather turned bad, I think some tragedy were going to happen. But we were really lucky, and that's what I say about feeling grateful. Because then the weather just stayed pretty calm, I would say.
Stable, yeah.
What's the thought process when you're sitting around, you're just waiting? There's nothing else you can do. You just wait. What goes through your mind?
Yeah. What do you do?
I was literally just trying to make myself awake because I was quite sleepy. So I was like, I was changing my position. I was trying to sit and stand up and carve some steps and then try to sit again and something like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of trying to stay calm.
Yeah.
Because the what is just keep popping into your head.
Yeah. I can only imagine how you have to have a strong mind to overcome all those thoughts of fear.
Stay in the moment. Just not
the
try
unknown.
Not to think.
Oh my! Try not to think. That's at 8,000 meters.
But honestly, I could not turn back at least because I was quite in front, so there was like 200 people queuing behind me. So I was like,
really? There's no way. Once you're in that queue, you're in that queue.
It's difficult to go in the reverse direction.
Exactly.
There's only one rope.
The only way is up, baby. That's what you guys said. Anyway.
Oh my goodness, I cannot imagine. I don't know if I have that sort of like mental steel to last because I didn't realize the wait was like 5-6 hours before you can even start to ascend. Goodness gracious me. And it's not like you can like have a conversation with people,
have a
play
Starbucks.
games, while you're waiting.
Oh gosh, what a remarkable achievement indeed. So earlier on, you said that you're going on to you're going to conquer more mountains, PS? You've done the 7 summits?
Climbing.
Yeah?
Wow.
Okay, and you're looking at more mountains in the Nepal, the China, Pakistan region as well, because there are 14 mountains, I think Vincere said, that are 8,000 meters and above. So Vincere, is that the same thing for you as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think I will, at some point, I'm looking to complete all the 14. But to start with, probably, same. Pick a few interesting ones and see if I will finish all of them.
What is interesting?
Define interesting.
As high as possible, that I can touch the clouds. The clouds cannot be touched. Never mind, separate
Actually,
topic
you're
here.
above the clouds.
Oh, yeah,
Nice
see?
one.
But I cannot touch the clouds. The clouds are a bit hard to touch. Okay, just one last question from me, okay? You do all these incredible climbs, it's just like weeks up in the mountains, all that cold air. What is the first thing you guys crave for, food-wise, when you're back in Singapore? PS?
So usually on the climbs, I make out a whole list of food items I'm going to eat.
To also spur you on, is it? Nice.
But the first thing I had was my teh si kosong.
Oh, hot drink, yes.
Very local.
I love that.
Vincere?
Mine is kaya butter toast.
Wow.
Girl, yes.
I like how these are the simple things in life, the simple drinks and the simple food. Nothing too complicated there. Any advice for people who are looking to achieve what you guys have done?
Yeah.
I think especially we're living on sea level, there are sometimes where for us we have a lot of barrier in terms of maybe we cannot do this and that, maybe it's too challenging, but I really think if you want to do something, say for example, if you want to go for 8,000 meter peak, we start from 5, 6, 7, we gradually go up, but just get yourself prepared, train well. Yeah.
Train well, be prepared. Okay.
Yeah, echo
PS?
that. Be prepared, do your training. Don't underestimate the mountains. So kind of respect the mountains.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us today. Vincere and PS. You guys are amazing. You're my new role models. You're such an inspiration. How can people find out more, keep up to date with what you're doing? Do you have like social media? Do you post on it? Were you on the mountain posting on Instagram?
Oh, no.
There was no internet.
Can people follow you on Instagram or social media? Where can they find you?
Facebook, Instagram, I have both.
Okay.
Just Vincere Zen or Vincere Z.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, there are not many Vincere out there.
Vincere
Yeah, exactly.
Zeng. Okay, and PS?
I have accounts too, but not exactly very active.
Okay, all right. So if we want to,
Facebook is
we'll just
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's Phei Sunn, right? All right. Thank you, ladies. All the best on your next adventure.
Thanks for having
Thank you.
us.
Good times. Good times. Greatest hits.